Okay, there we go. All right, everyone. So thanks for joining. This is the Senior Management Advisors Enroller Training for the 2018 Open Enrollment here. I have pulled up on my screen the landing page, sma.benaware.com. This is also included in your training invite, as well as 3 benefit guides. You'll notice the difference. You have staff, corporate, and management, and we'll go over that. So the landing page has been accessible to the employees. They have a way to schedule an appointment here, or they can call our office, which many of them have. We're doing very well on scheduling. Nearly half the employees have made an appointment already, so that's great. Down here we have the icons for the documents that are included here. The first one here is actually mislabeled. This is the Guardian implementation guide, not benefit guide, and we can go through that. But I'm going to start actually with the benefit guide that's here. This is for the staff, and there's a couple of differences, and I'll point those out as we go in here. So when you pull up the document, first I want to point out that you can download or print these right from the site for your reference if you wanted to. But this is the benefits guide that was created by cooperative effort, I'm sure, between All Trust and Patty. We have a welcome page. There's a lot of information here, not just all specific to benefits either. There's just a lot of information, period. So medical insurance will remain with United Healthcare. There's 4 plans. Preventive services covered at 100%. Emergency visits will be covered as in-network benefit anywhere you travel. Dental insurance will be moving to United Healthcare, so that's a new carrier for them. Similar plans. Vision will be moving to United Healthcare. Voluntary life, United Healthcare. And then supplemental products remaining with Guardian. That's the accident, cancer, short-term disability, and hospital indemnity. And then there's a little guide to tell you what page things are on. So let's just get right to it. So eligibility, again, this isn't necessarily, it is benefits related, and it is for your knowledge. We don't really have to go into details, but first of the day following 60 days of full-time employment, that is important. If you have a new hire sitting with you, and they're not in the system, that could be why they're not eligible yet. If they're not, just run those back through me. Of course, any questions that come up, any items that come up, like someone not in the system, just bring it back to me, and we'll follow up. Dependent eligibility, legal spouse, and then children, stepchildren, adopted children, and then you have the ages based on the product, either 30 or 26. Qualified life events, obviously, as many of these items are pre-tax, you can't change them without a qualified life event, and there's a process for that, which is described here below. Okay. 4 medical plans, and this is where I could use a little bit of help here. I'm not sure what changes these plans have from last year, or if anything has changed with the plans.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
Hey, this is Patty. Those 4 plans have not changed. They are the exact same as what we had last year. The only change is to the premium.
Okay. And this is the staff benefits guide. I noticed that the premium is different, or the contributions are different for management and corporate.
That is correct. But once you're in the actual enrollment in Paycor system, it's based off of a classification that's linked to the employee. So when the enroller pulls up that particular employee, the benefits offered are specific to that individual. So if it's a staff person, only the staff plans will show. If it's a corporate individual, only the corporate will show, and so on.
Understood. Okay. And I also noticed that dental is a different contributions for dental as well, based on that.
Correct. And dental did change. We went from Guardian last year to United for 2019. And that is the same with vision as well.
Okay. And do the employees have these benefit guides already?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so help me out here, Patty. So I see some high deductible plans here.
Yes.
HSA, oops, a couple HSAs plans. Are there 3 HSA plans here?
Yes, 3 HSAs, and then the one to the far right is the PPO.
Okay. Yeah, the plan names, don't help really, but so these two are obviously high deductible plans, 5,500 and 3,000. Is this third plan still considered high deductible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so eligible for an HSA. On the HSA, is there an HSA contribution, employer contribution, or no?
No.
Okay. All right, so you guys are used to this type of grid. So we have the deductible, we have the co-insurance, depending on the plan, maximum out of pocket, and then co-pays or percentage of co-insurance for the office visits, depending on the plan you elect. The highest deductible plan here, as you can see, is no cost for the doctor's visits after you meet your deductible, of course. Virtual visits, there's actually a page dedicated to this. So is that like telemedicine, or is it a virtual visit with an actual doctor in the network here?
It is similar to telemedicine, yes. We, of course, ask that people stay in network, but they can speak to an out-of-network doctor as well.
Okay. And then hospitalization depends, again, on the situation, which plan you've chosen, and what you're having done. If you're going inpatient or emergency room, it all varies. Diagnostics, same kind of thing there. And then prescriptions, looks to be almost the same across the board here. $10 copay after deductible, except for the PPO. You don't have to meet your deductible first for prescriptions. And a slight difference, 35 and 60 versus 30 and 50 on the others. You get a little break on the mail order for those maintenance drugs. So that's nice. Hi, did someone join? Looks like Ed is joining us. And then there are out-of-network benefits, and you can see how those are affected here. Obviously, much larger deductibles and less coverage out-of-network. Is there anything else, Patty, to add to what we've covered here? Any nuances or anything unique we should know?
I don't think so. Bo and Michelle with All Trust are also on the line. And do you guys feel anything is needed additional for the medical? I think we're okay on this.
One thing, this is Michelle. Does everyone understand on the HSAs the difference between embedded and non-embedded deductibles and max out of pocket?
That is a good point. Michelle, can you review that with us, please?
Okay, so 2 of the plans you see state embedded and 1 says non-embedded.
Mm-hmm.
When they're embedded and you have dependents enrolled with the employee on the plan, that means that if one individual hits the individual 5,500 or 3,000, not on that plan, on the other 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Then they've satisfied their deductible. The rest of the family collectively would have to satisfy the remainder. Same for the max out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when something's not embedded and the third plan is non-embedded, so that deductible, if you have family members on the plan, one person can meet the entire 3,000 for the family. It does not slice and dice into any individual amount.
Right.
Same for the max out of pocket.
Right.
Any questions on that? Mm-hmm. And then I'm sure probably everyone on the phone's aware that what preventive visits are, and that they're covered by law at no charge.
Right.
listed under physician services there.
Right. It's part of ACA. There it is.
The last thing, yeah, right. The last thing I want to mention is that effective January 1 on the labs, the in-network lab, that Quest is being added.
Mm-hmm.
That might be something you might want to point out because prior it was just LabCorp.
Okay.
But that's on the guide as well.
Yeah, there in the middle. Okay, great. All right, is an HSA right for me? So this is just a little calculator page where they can add up and see if it makes sense for them to contribute to an HSA. Of course, the whole benefit of the HSA is pre-tax dollars used for medical expenses. Here's an example of that.
Yes, and all of that was gone over during our webinar, Scott. So this type of information doesn't necessarily need to be gone over again with the employees unless they have a specific question.
Yes, of course. Create an account on myuhc.com. Is this for the, oh, this is just for their own claims and stuff, right?
Yeah,
correct. That's the web portal with United.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patty.
Manage claims,
no problem.
Track medical expenses. Okay. Here's a virtual visit. So there's an application, and it's a virtual visit, a video over your phone. 24/7. Well, or and $50 or less per visit. So the $50, is that a copay or is that just a fee?
You could look at it either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's $49. It's on the section we just went over on the health benefits.
Oh yes, it's $49.
Right.
$49.
For the HSAs, it's $49. For the PPO, it's $10.
Let's see. There it is. $10, $49. Okay. Let's see. Weight loss program. Again, more information than just benefit information contained here for the employer
Correct.
to review. Tips for saving on medical expenses. You can see the long list there. Try to avoid the emergency room if you can. It's always the most expensive. Save money on prescriptions with Publix, and there's some examples. Free prescriptions, $2.50 prescriptions. Okay, the dental plans. So 2 plans, a high and a low. You can see the rates here, and again, these rates are different based on the class of person as well. On the landing page, we just put the staff one, because the management and corporate is different rates, so we don't want to publicize that. Annual deductible, $50 for the individual, $150 for the family on the low plan, on both plans in network. The deductible applies to basic and major services, both plans. It does not apply to preventive services. And your plan maximums are different, either 1,000 or 1,500, low to high. And of course, it's on a fee schedule. So preventive covered at 100%, basic either 80 or 100%, and major services either 50 or 60%. No orthodontia, and there is a rollover. Let's see if that's described. That is not described in here.
It's not on there.
It's not, okay. Okay. Vision, United Healthcare, one plan. Eye exam every 1 year in network. Materials once a year as well, which is the lenses, $25 copay. And then frames every 2 years, $25 copay, $130 allowance. Contacts in lieu of frames every 12 months. It's pretty standard. Voluntary life insurance. So you can see here, guaranteed issue amounts are for new hires. It says for 2019 open enrollment and new hires, you can elect up to the guarantee issue. So guarantee issue amounts are displayed here based on who the individual is. Minimums are displayed, and then not to exceed 5 times for the employee. And I'm sure, is there anything enroller monitored in the system, Patty? Is this all capped at 5 times and all those things?
Correct. The system has been built out based on the plan provisionals and whatnot. So it's all listed in there and ready to go.
All right, great.
You know, on the you might want to add on that voluntary life.
Mm-hmm.
If someone already had over the guaranteed issue with the prior carrier, they will be grandfathered in and will get that higher amount.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, and once we get into actually looking at the enrollment screens, one of the great things about the system is that once we go in and actually look at the Vol Life page, whatever the individual currently has is what's going to be marked on that page. Okay. So, for example, if somebody has 100,000 and we know that that's already been what they've had in the previous year, it's going to be marked as that 100,000. So, just as a heads up, but you'll see that once we get into the screens a little bit later.
Okay. And then we have some worksite products here. Guardian Accident, $50,000.
Scott, can we go back on the that's the one difference I see in the corporate versus the staff and the management. So it looks like corporate then also has an employer paid STD and an LTD. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. And on the corporate enrollments, that will come up through the enrollment screen, but it will be automatically checked with a $0 payroll deduction because those are company provided. So whenever you're contacting a corporate employee, those corporate benefits will show, and then it will also offer the Vol Life.
Got it. Okay. And there's no decisions for them on that. It just shows that those are company paid.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, that's a good point. I did not see that previously. Let me find it. I'm probably making everybody dizzy with this, but there it is.
Scott, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see. Oh, okay. All right. You must have gone to the corporate.
Yeah,
flyer.
pick the other one up.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
So employer paid life and AD&D, $25,000. Vol Life, just like before. And then they have a company paid short-term disability, 14-day waiting period, 12-week, 3-month benefit period, LTD, 91 days, 50% of the salary, $5,000 a month. And what's the benefit period? Is it Social Security retirement age?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you.
All right, might as well stay with this one. So we have the accident plan, accidental death. Obviously, this works on a fee schedule, $100 wellness. And of course, there is a hospital admission benefit, $2,000, hospital confinement, $400. ICU is more, $800 a day. Off the job only, that's important to remember. And as you guys are very familiar with these types of plans, it works on a fee schedule. It's portable. There's a summary of what I just said there. And the rates. Of course, they're in the system too. Bo, anything to add about the accident?
No, I think you guys are well equipped for that.
Yeah. Okay, the cancer plan. Guaranteed issue, 30-day waiting period for initial diagnosis. Now, this works on a schedule as well. Okay, for depending on the treatment that you're having, it pays fees associated. The cancer plan. There's also a $100 screening benefit. There it is, $100 screening, and a $5,000 initial diagnosis fee as well. But otherwise, it works on a schedule.
And I just want to make sure, so the guaranteed issue means if they've already been diagnosed with a cancer treatment, they can still use this.
Oh, sorry.
Is that correct?
So this is Bo Morris. So the GI offers every employee coverage regardless of medical history. There is a 12-12 pre-existing limitation imposed, which you guys know what that means.
Yeah.
So even if they have gone through a cancer diagnosis in the past, they can still get coverage, but obviously pre-X would be imposed.
Got it.
If they're a new infant. This plan was offered last year and typically would be underwritten in year 2, but because of our relationship with Guardian, we've gotten them to extend GI again for a second year on both cancer and short-term disability. Keep in mind, the radiation, chemo, blood and plasma, those buckets of money are annually renewable, and it's based off of billed charge.
And Scott, you might want to go back to the other guide because the short-term disability is not on the corporate guide, but it is available to the management and the staff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We wouldn't have any need for the corporate to double purchase, have 2 policies.
Okay, so there is the cancer that we were just looking at, and there is the short-term disability, voluntary short-term disability, which of course will not show in the guide. So 14-day waiting period, 13-week period, 60% of salary, and it's guarantee issue again. And then contacts for everyone. I think I missed one. 1 second. There it is. So this guide's a little bit different than the other one. So we have the accident, and I skipped over this or it wasn't in the other one. Hospital indemnity, group hospital indemnity. So we have 4 worksite products here: accident, cancer, disability, and hospital indemnity. Of course, not disability if they have the employer paid one. So hospital indemnity, the $2,000 hospital admission benefit, $200 hospital confinement every day for 30 days, or $400 if it's ICU. And of course, hospital indemnity is guarantee issue. All right, so that covers everything. There's the contact information. Like I said, it's the last page in the guide there. So Penny, I'll hand it over to you. Let me give you control here.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Before we get started, I need to preface this by saying that I have experienced some access difficulties this morning when trying to log in as the enroller. So as of this time, I'm going to be logging in as myself to do this training. Okay. But before the end of the day, I will provide you with that access point. We're just still trying to get the access squared away so that some things are hidden and the main points of the enrollment are actually accessible to your enrollers. So bear in mind that once we go into looking at the system, it will be a little bit different than what the enrollers are going to see when we first go in. So I just wanted to preface before we even get started on that as to that situation, okay?
Okay.
So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to log directly into paycor.com. And once we get here, there's going to be a sign in or log in, if you will, in your upper right-hand corner. Mm-hmm. And here, I'm just going to log in as myself again, so just disregard what you're seeing here. My number keys don't want to work. This is exactly what's going to happen when your users go to log in for the first time. It's going to recognize that they are logging in from a different IP address than has ever logged in before. And it's going to ask you to send a notification to a specific area, whether it's an email or a phone. I have logged the benefit enroller login to a Gmail email address. You all will all have access to that, but what I would suggest doing is logging in one at a time, because what's going to happen is if everybody tries to log in at once, it's going to send a bunch of codes to the email, and you're not going to know which code results, goes to each individual. So I would have one person sign in, get logged in, and okay, flag the next person, let them get logged in, and so on. And again, you will have all this information provided to you by the end of the day. So when this notification message pops up, it's going to ask you to go to that email, and in that email, you're going to get a code. And so we're just going to plop in that code. My keys, I apologize, they're not wanting to work today.
Okay, Scott, how is someone going to coordinate, I don't know how many enrollers you've got doing this.
Yes, I'll coordinate this after this call.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so here's your Paycor landing page. And again, this is going to be very similar to what you see. It probably won't have as much information on it here, but you will see a page similar to this. And where you're going to be going is right under Employees, and you're going to go to Manage Employees, or you can actually just click Manage Employees right from the home page. So you can do it one of two ways. Just click on Manage Employees or go to Employees and Manage. So once you get here, you can see you have a listing of all of the employees all across all communities. And what you want to do is search for the person that you're looking for. So for example, if I'm doing myself, I'm just going to type in my last name. Now you don't want to hit tab or enter once you have the name entered, because if you do, it's going to wipe it out. You have to type in the name and then wait, okay? And what it's going to do is it's going to bring you up a listing of everybody in the system with that name. So what I'm going to do is just find myself. And you can also do that just by searching on this main page here. But when I find the individual, it's going to take me to that individual's profile. And where we want to go is under Company and then Benefit Elections. And once you can see is when we get to this benefit election page, at the very top of the page, you can see that there is an enrollment in process. And there's a link here that allows you to choose and submit the benefit elections. So we're just going to click right on that link, and it takes us right to the open enrollment for this individual. And this takes you page by page to allow you to choose and assist that employee with making those elections. So let's go page by page. We'll go to the next one. We have personal information. You can see here my info, my address, and so on. Then we can go to dependents, and you can see that I haven't added any dependents. However, if I wanted to, and this is a perfect opportunity to do so, at the bottom of the screen, you have the Add Dependent link. So if you click on that, it's going to bring up a box that allows you to add in that information. Keep in mind, anything with an orange asterisk is a required field. Now, we have let all of the employees know that they need to be prepared when you guys call with dates of birth and socials. If for some reason somebody does not have that information, you can continue without entering it, and that employee will just have to get that information to us later. I would ask that you not enter dummy information, if you will, or all 9s or all 8s, just simply because it's going to cause more trouble in the long run. If they do have beneficiaries that they want to add when it comes to life, they're just going to have to let us know. When it comes to dependents, however, we will have to enter in some sort of a dummy social and birth date, simply because when we get down to the plans, if they're trying to elect employee plus spouse or employee plus children, if there's no benefits there, it's not going to allow you to choose that plan, okay? So if for some reason somebody does not have a date of birth or social, just go ahead and enter it in as all 9s or all 8s or a dummy birthday. I tend to use 1/1/1980. I don't know why I use that, I just do. But nonetheless, you can certainly enter that information. And at the end of the enrollment, we're going to be doing a thorough review of that. And if we see anybody with that social or that dummy birthday, we're going to follow up with them and make sure that it's updated before the files go to the carrier. Okay? But nonetheless, that's how you would add that dependent. And then, of course, you would just save and close. Now, I'm just going to go back because I'm not going to add a dependent. But you can see here on the left side, you can actually click on all of these different pages, or you can just select next on the bottom right. Either way, it's going to take you through the process.
Can you go back up to the personal information? How do you edit any of that personal information?
This information is not editable through the enrollment. They would have to edit that information with their business office coordinator.
Okay, good to know.
Great question, thank you. So again, we've added your dependents, if any, beneficiaries the same way. You can see that information here. If you wanted to open it, you certainly could just by clicking on that name, and you can edit this information if need be. And you can also add a beneficiary here if you'd like. And again, just clicking next to get to my next page. And here you can see is the medical. Now, what I've stated before is that when you come on to any of these actual plan pages, you're going to see that it's already selected as to what the individual had the prior year. So for myself, I have the PPO plan for myself only in 2018. So this is going to default to whatever the individual currently has, even if they have nothing. If they had nothing in 18, this decline all coverage button would be checked. Okay, so basically we're just going to go through here. We're going to check which plan the individual would like. And again, just simply click next to go to the next page. And you can see over here on the right as well that we have some provider information as well as the benefit summaries on each page as well. So here we're on to the dental. Again, it's defaulted to what I currently have. I can make any changes if I need to. If I had a plan that had spouse or children or dependents, that information would be listed down here under the covered dependents, and there would also be a check mark box next to it. So for example, if someone chooses, employee plus children, but they're only going to cover 2 of their 3 children, then those 2 boxes would be checked and the third would not. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we'll just keep going through, and then here's vision. Again, same similar idea as the other 2 pages there. So next we're going to go to our voluntary life. And again, you will see, that's interesting, because I currently have voluntary life, but it's not showing that information, so I'll have to check into that. But nonetheless, this is where you can check that information to see if they want that voluntary life going forward, and then you can see you've got the beneficiaries listed here below. And then it's going to take us right to our spouse coverage. And the only rules with your voluntary life is, of course, if the employee elects, then the spouse is allowed up to 50% of what that employee elected. So for example, if they elected $300,000, then their spouse would be eligible for up to half of that amount, which would be $150,000. And that's why you'll see that it actually caps at that. Okay. I will just go ahead and click next here, and then we're going to go to our child life page, which again, capped at $10,000. You can see that information there. And then the next 3 pages are only going to be listed for your corporate employees. And I wanted to specifically show this to you because you can see that it is already marked. It is notating a $0 deduction. So these 3 pages, you can actually skip right through, and that's not an issue. They will automatically be checked for each individual that is a corporate employee. On an individual that is not a corporate employee, these items will simply be missing. They will not be part of that enrollment screen. Okay. So now we go ahead and we just get down to the supplementary benefits here with our accident, hospital, and cancer. Again, very similar to what you've seen on the other plan pages as well. It will default to what you currently have, and you can make that choice there. If you do decide to add on additional coverage for your dependents, of course, your dependents would be listed here, and you would just have to check those boxes. And again, this is similar for your hospital indemnity and cancer pages. And then once you get to the end, the summary page, it provides you a basic overview of everything that this employee has elected. You can see their personal information, dependents, beneficiaries, and then right here is the actual meat of the enrollment. On the left side, you can see what I currently am enrolled in, and on the right side is what I'm going to, okay, for the 2019 year. And if I scroll to the very bottom, it provides me a total per paycheck employee cost. So that's something that you can provide to the employee at the end of your call. And once all is done and settled, you're simply going to click the Save and Submit button. And once you do so, you are now complete with that individual's enrollment, and you're ready to go to the next individual. And you can certainly search that person out just by using the search field here. Or you can click on this little employee list button, and that will take you right back to the beginning where we originally saw all of the names. So that's basically it in a nutshell. What I'm going to do is leave this test enrollment open until Sunday at 5 p.m. This allows your enrollers sometimes to get in there, play with the system. They're not going to break anything. They can actually go through, make elections or what have you. Because what will happen is that Sunday at 5 p.m., I'm going to go in the system and delete the test enrollment. I'm going to actually create the open enrollment that will be ready to go for Monday morning. So come Sunday, probably 5:30, 6 o'clock, the new enrollment will be ready and out there and ready for our enrollers to begin enrolling.
Okay.
Can I ask a question on the
Please.
On the voluntary life? So if they elect above the guarantee issue and they need to do evidence of insurability, does that come up through the system, or how do we direct them to do that?
You can certainly let them know that, and all of those forms are with their business office coordinator. They can get that from them. They would then need to complete that form and send it back in.
Got it. Okay.
The system is very user-friendly. I don't like to use the word simple because everybody's simple is a little bit different. But I'm hoping that with today's demonstration, you can see it is very user-friendly. It's really just knowing what the individual's name is, going into their profile, clicking on those benefits, and whatever they're eligible for is what's already automatically listed in the system. So there's no guessing. And you're basically going in and just checking what those individuals would like, save and submitting, and you're done for them.
Okay.
Also, what I can do, Scott, if it would be beneficial, is I can provide screenshots for you if that would be helpful to your enrollment team as well. Although I knew you did make a recording of this, so I suppose they could just go back to the recording, but I could certainly send screenshots if you'd like.
I think the recording is sufficient, really.
Okay, very good. That's no problem.
Thanks.
I just want to make sure we have all things that are needed so that we have a successful enrollment and your enrollers feel comfortable and confident with to our employees.
Yes, of course.
This is Susan, and I do have one question. I don't know if I asked when I hit the wrong button on my phone, but I don't notice anything on the websites for HSA or FSA contributions. Are they not made available?
That is correct. That's correct. The employer does not provide any contributions on behalf of the employee. So if the employee does choose an HSA plan, it is certainly their choice to set up that HSA account. And if they do so, United uses Optum Bank, so we can certainly offer that. But really, any bank they can go to open that HSA account is fine. They just need to provide a direct deposit authorization form to their business office coordinator, and that would then set up that deduction through payroll.
Okay, but we don't get involved with that through open enrollment.
No.
Okay.
you could certainly let them know if someone asks, well, hey, how do I go about setting up an account? You can advise them that any bank, that they can get an HSA account is fine. They would just need to follow up with their business office coordinator to get that direct deposit authorization form so that we could set up payroll accordingly.
And for those with the PPO, can they do an FSA through Optum as well?
No, we do not do FSAs.
At all. Okay. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
For the voluntary life, in some systems we put in how much they want to add. In this system, I'm assuming we want to put in the total they would like based on what they currently have plus new, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. It's going to be the total of what they select. I'm just going into an enrollment here so you can see that screen again. And don't think that you ever have to go page by page here. You can certainly skip around if you'd like to. If somebody's going to decline the medical and the dental, you can all go, of course, and look at those pages and ensure they are. But you can skip from page to page. But as you see here on your voluntary life, you just want to make sure that you're selecting that whole number.
Yeah, so it should be what they want in total is what we're selecting here, not what they're adding. Okay.
Okay. And then is there a place to locate for them to see the evidence of insurability form that could be required based on what they're requesting?
The evidence of insurability form is something that they would get from their business office coordinator.
Okay.
So I would just direct them there. We also refer to them as BOX, which is Business Office Coordinator in short. And so they may be more familiar with the BOX terminology than business office. So just so you know, if you use that too, that would be appropriate as well.
Okay, great.
So that's basically it. Do we have any other questions in regards to how the system works?
Doesn't sound
okay. Scott, do you have anything or anything to add? I mean, I certainly am going to be providing some additional information before the end of the day to you so that you can get that out to your team. I will be including the enroller access as well as the email access that links to that enroller so that they can get into the email as well. Yeah. And then providing you the information as to how to get into the site, of course. Yeah. And I think that's it, unless you need anything else further.
I don't believe so. For my team, I will, once I have this information from Patty, I'll reach out to you individually to get you registered. And then, of course, the night before, I'll send you the appointments for the calls. But we can regroup on that later.
So each night, Scott, you're going to send us the appointments for the next day, or you're going to give us our appointments for the whole week? So, okay, so just day by day.
Yeah, they can continue to make appointments even next week. So, some might pop in there. So I'll just send them each evening.
Got it. Okay.
Right. Because we are a 24/7 operation, there is a possibility. Keep in mind, we take care of the elderly population, so there may be a situation where if you call a resident care aide at our specific scheduled time, that they may not be able to answer simply because of an emergency that's happening with one of the residents. So by keeping the appointment slots open throughout next week, it provides that opportunity for that person who has missed the appointment to set up a new appointment before the week is out. So that's why we wanted to keep that open. Now, I don't foresee a lot of that happening. We have certainly stressed the importance of making sure they answer that call, but just keep in mind, it is a resident type of community that you're dealing with here, where our employees are taking care of those folks, and that's our first priority.
Right. Okay. Well, Patty, thank you so much for joining, for giving us all this information, for showing us the system. It's been very helpful. And
thank you. I'm super excited. I'm really excited to work with the team. excited to see our results next week. And of course, I'm available all week. So if anything should happen, if you as an enroller have some sort of an issue with the system, I'm at your fingertips. So please feel free to give me a call. I'm here at the office. Scott, you can certainly provide that information to your enrolling team as to how to get a hold of me. I can also provide you with my cell phone number. So if for some reason I'm not at the office and somebody needs me, I can certainly provide that as well. So we are extremely thankful for you and your team to be assisting us with our enrollment this year and look forward to some great results.
Great. Thanks so much. Bo and Michelle, thank you also for joining and getting us involved here. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
and
Thanks,
Patty.
everyone.
I appreciate your commitment.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Bo. Sorry.
No problem.
Everybody have a great weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Scott, call me if you need anything, okay?
I will.
All right.
Thanks much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.